I hope so. Oh, we're live.
Oh my God, we are live. Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. I know we are live on Katarina's page and we will be sharing this on other platforms. So I'm talking to the other audience. We have with us the wonderful Katarina Wallentin today, who is the worldwide coordinator for communications access consciousness. She's worked with access consciousness, I think, for so many years now. Is an
15
author of
years.
15 years now. That's
Yeah.
wow. That's amazing. The author of some amazing books, and like I need to add my personal favorite, the Baby Dragon Manifesto, which I think is just one of those books which melts my heart every single time I read it. I've quoted it left,
Mm.
right, and center in different places, and my favorite podcast channel too, Feeding the Wolf of Possibilities. So, welcome, Katerina. It's such a lovely thing to be having this conversation with you
Thank
today.
you. What a wonderful introduction. Just before we even go into the touch part, I just want to say this thing about the Dragon book. So, we started by publishing uh, the Baby Unicorn Manifesto, which was really for very small children and also
Yeah.
their parents, basically. And I remember after writing that book, and we read it, I think the first time we read it on stage was at a facilitator's class, and people were really touched. And I still had this little nagging thing going on, like, I don't feel like a unicorn all the time. I often don't feel like a unicorn. So I was like, okay, so what about all of us that are like more dragon like and spew fire now and then and do like weird mistakes that we regret after? Like, all that non-sweetness. So I remember writing the Dragon book together with Dane, and then we read it out loud at another facilitators, and so many people came up to me and said it was such a relief to find that you didn't have to be a sweet, pink, purple unicorn. You could also be a red dragon on fire. So I really recommend that to any parent who have kids that have started to say no a lot, and also to any adults that really kind of have the sense of that they're not allowed to be the dragons they could truly be and set this world on fire, because that's required
Absolutely.
too.
Yeah, I think it's a totally appropriate adult book, which I have
Yeah.
recommended to so many adults. And the feedback that I've received too is it's probably one of the most relatable books. And the pictures are still so allowed in my head. Like, even as you're speaking to me about the book, it's just
Mm.
one of those that touched me so deeply. And I remember it's just it just leaves such a good taste in your mouth. It's that book that made me feel so good. So thank you so much. Like, I know I've never spoken to you about this personally, but it's been a book
Mm.
that's a huge contribution. Uh,
And, it's funny because we're talking about touch and we're talking
yeah.
about the art of touch, but you can be touched by so many things, and you can be touched by a book, you can be touched by a picture. I mean, the word touch has those connotations, like it can be either you're touched, like we use it both as touch, like
Yeah.
the touch that is like physical, but we'll go a little further today. But it's also about this being touched, like being touched on your inside by something that actually manages to go through your mind and do something different, create something
Wow.
different within you, which those pictures and that text somehow did for you. Like, you actually were touched in your being, which is one of the most beautiful ways of being touched.
Wow, I love it. That's already so profound. So, the topic for today, if you didn't know, everybody, what if touch is your sixth sense? So, Katrina, what do you have to say about
Yeah.
touch being your sixth sense and how did that come about?
Well, it's funny because when I started to look at this, well, I've been exploring touch for a long time. So touch is really one of the things that I found it profound, but I also found it incredibly dynamically changing. It's one of the ways that you can get to things with bypassing your mind, because touch is so immediate. It's such a way where you can't think it. You can't think your way to touch. And the part about the sixth sense is, so touch is one of our five senses. We know that, like hearing, sight, touch, smell, and taste are our senses. But touch is so much more than what we define it as, because we take all our senses for granted. We have this sense, okay, so I see, I hear, all of that. But then that's what we define them as. I mean, lately they even discovered that people can actually see colors through their fingers, their fingertops. There are certain people that are able to see colors through their fingertops because our senses are so much more than we've ever allowed them to be. You know, if somebody loses their sight, for example, most of them are able to actually start increasing their hearing. Like if you lose one sense, your other senses step up and they actually become greater. So I think it's blind people that basically hear little echoes to be able to walk forward. That's why they knock their cane, so that they hear how the cane actually echoes, kind of like bats do. So for me, when I started to explore touch, it wasn't just about, yes, this is wonderful. It was about all the other things that touch also gave me. So, for example, like a very simple way of looking at it is if you hug someone, not the kind of hug, where you go up and just like, yeah, hello, hello. But if you really hug somebody, if you hug somebody and you're totally present and you're willing to receive in that hug, you get a download of information that nearly nothing else can give you. And the more you learn and play in the field of energetics, the more information you get. You can get a download of where that person functioned that day, who they are with you, who you are with them, things that goes on in their whole body and being. And I'm not really saying thoughts or points of views. It's the sense of how they energetically are showing up in the world that day. So all of that comes to you in that moment of the hug. So that download of information is the touch of the hug, and then being willing to receive all that information. It's also one of the reasons why autistic people, for example, have a hard time hugging. And sometimes we do too. There are times when I absolutely do not want to hug anyone. It's one of the last things I want to do. So it also gives you if you're willing to know that a hug are that powerful, that potent, you can also know when you would like to hug somebody, when you would like to be hugged by somebody, and you can start learning to say no in a way that is actually, no, today is not my day for being hugged. Like you can start claiming this capacity of touch and start choosing when you would like to have those downloads and when you actually require the space, your space around you.
That's so
So
beautiful. I mean, sorry to add, but something you were speaking about. I was listening to some content on YouTube about something you had spoken about with regards to touch, and you said that, I'm paraphrasing, like touch, like sometimes when you touch somebody with presence, it's so much more powerful than even sex. And you said something on those lines, and I was like, wow, can you say a little more about that? Like, what can true touch from presence and no point of view create in a person's body?
Oh, that's a brilliant question too. And I think it's so well put, because how on earth could it be more potent than sex? Because we made sex is like the thing. If you have sex with somebody, then that's like the most important way to touch somebody. And sex can be amazing. And sex with total presence and kindness and caring and all the elements of sex can be absolutely revolutionary in some ways. So let's just say that too. And you can have sex and nothing really changes. Then it's just like the connection of the body parts coming together. And without touch, there's no intimacy. So for me, what happens with touch is like if you are totally present and you're willing to be intimate in that moment, you actually can create, I don't know how to call it, like a connection, but like a sense of intimacy with somebody that goes way beyond sex. And sometimes, for any of you that try this, you can sit beside somebody, and it's not even your physical body that touch, it is your subtle bodies, like your energetic bodies, your light bodies, the bodies that we all have around us. They're touching, and there's like a vibration there that creates an intimacy and a closeness and that sense of nearly melting into each other in that moment that goes way beyond bad sex. Because sex without the sense of intimacy and without the sense of touch doesn't really have the capacity to have that melting part. Now it can still be fun. You can still have really fun sex, and that's just like a playing with everything. So again, none of it is better, or it's just, if you really would like to connect with somebody and have that sense of, I would say, their essence, like the essence of someone else, touch and being touched with no judgment, with total vulnerability, with an honoring, with gratitude, and with allowance, the 5 elements of intimacy creates a whole new space to function from. And I often, like, if you, in some of the classes that I do that are called Art of Touch, we start with very simple practices where the only thing we do is maybe just like touching each other's like skin, basically, just on the arm. And immediately when you do that, a different space shows up in the room. It is like we are given these magical tools of touch, and you can really touch with your whole body, but you can definitely touch with your hands. And we still don't realize that we have them. It's like when a kid falls, the first thing you do is like you put your hand on what hurts. It's natural. Like it's a natural way of adding your essence to that person. It's a natural way of calming things down. I mean, we know that endorphins are released when we're being touched. Oh, I'll tell one of my favorite stories. So I learned this a long time ago. I think I was studying sociology, and I was reading a book about different, how much they've discovered that touch, how important it is for somebody to be touched. And this particular one was from after one of the wars. They had this orphanage where all the babies that had become orphans were laying in a big room, and they all kept dying. Like they were laying there, they were fed properly, they were changed properly and all of that, but they still kept dying, except the kid by the door. Whatever kid that was placed furthest away, like by the door, kept surviving. And they looked at what that was. And what it turned out, I don't remember the whole experiment, but what they turned out to be is that the cleaning lady who came in and cleaned every night, she walked the whole room, she cleaned around every bed, but at the end, she stopped, she picked up that baby and held the baby for a while before she went out. And that touch nurtured that baby way more than the food and the changing of the diapers and the changing of the sheet did. It's our bodies, our beings crave touch. We actually require it. Being depraved, being not getting touch, I can't find the English word, is actually one of the things that makes us shrivel and become smaller and not able to thrive in our lives.
That's so beautiful. And you've been a 3-day body class facilitator, and you facilitate classes all over the world, and you meet people in different parts of the world. Is there any experiences you can share about what really occurs in the art of touch class? Like when a person, say, attends a class like the art of touch, what does one expect, or what is the experience that one can kind of take out of a class like that?
Well, it's funny because when I started the classes, my idea was that, because I really enjoy touch. So my idea was this would be wonderful, and we can all just like dive into touch and explore it more and more. And that happens too. And a lot of times also people that don't have ease with touch come to these classes, people that are kind of uncomfortable and don't really know how to navigate that whole area of touch. Because from when we're born, touch is part of our lives. We do get hugged. We sometimes get hugged when we don't want to get hugged. We receive a lot of touch that we may not have asked for, or even touch that is abusive. It is part of everything around us. And in that, we've created different kind of ways to handle touch that sometimes doesn't always work for us anymore, but we don't know any other way. And it's kind of in the back of the way. It's like it's an unconscious way of functioning. So what happens in these classes is that we start exploring touch in an experiential way. Experiential in the way that you get to do practices. You get to very simple practices. This is not like something everybody can do this basically. It's very, very simple practices. And in those practices, things come up, energies come up, memories come up sometimes, feelings that you have around touch come up. And then we use the access consciousness tools, which are some of the most amazing, dynamically changing tools in the world, to look at what comes up and use that to choose to open up a whole new space of choosing from and exploring from. So every single person that comes brings their world of touch with them to this class. And then all those different worlds of touch meet in these practices. And we use everyone in the class to actually open up brand new universes of touch. And that's one of the most brilliant parts about it, is you can't really do a touch class on your own. It doesn't really work. You need all these people. You need their worlds around touch with you. And in that way, we can explore both how to have more fun with touch, how to enjoy it more, how to explore it more, and how to know when to say no, how to actually have your own back when it comes to touch. And once you are able to say no, once you're able to have your own back, that's when you can start exploring it for real. Because before you can say no, you can't really say yes to some of this, because you will always keep like a little back door open so you can back out. But once you learn this, like, to have your own back in this whole area of touch, and this is about touch on so many different levels. It can be touch just through looking at someone, and it can be touch of your energetic bodies. And it's definitely touch of your physical body. Your body is a sensory organism. It's made for you to get information and experience the world through your senses. And touch is just one of the most amazing ones. So that's what we do in the classes. And these classes blow me away every time. Like, where we can go using touch, using the sensory organism that are our bodies, is amazing when you connect it to the tools of access consciousness and the energetic freedom it gives to be able for anything to come up and look at it and then move on and go into something new.
I mean, I can, but just perceive like the energy of what you're mentioning, what gets explored in these classes, like given the amount of separation that COVID actually created in this world. Like, it was
Mm-hmm.
something which was the opposite of touch. It was almost forced that you need to live in a world of separation. And with the increase in AI, like when everyone's doing, I mean, I don't know if I'm opening different cans of worms over here, but then the whole relevance of touch in this world, I am super excited. Those of you who are watching, Katrina is having a full day Art of Touch class coming up live in New Delhi on the 26th of June, which is one day after the SOP class, the 4-day SOP class that Dane's going to be here for between the
Mm.
22nd and the 25th. And this class has a prerequisite. It requires you to have attended a foundation class at least once, because, it's just
Yeah.
something which kind of makes it easy for you to get. I mean, I already perceive this as something that is so, I mean, it can be such an advanced conversation, and like the kind of stuff that can be put in that 1 day class can, yeah, very, very excited and looking forward.
Yeah. Well, the foundation gives us a platform to go much further, because people then
Yeah.
have the basics of access, the access tools, and then we can actually move so much faster than if we have to. Otherwise, we kind of have to start with foundation to even get
Correct.
there. And I must say, like, if you come, we will bring all the energies of the symphony into this class. They're always there and they're always part of it. But after a 4-day symphony class, they're definitely going to be part of this class. And that whole energetic universe of the symphony of possibilities is one of the most beautiful ways of touch as well, to include that energetic playfulness, the energetic potency of that space. So, yeah, it will definitely contribute to where we can go the day after the SOP.
Absolutely. We will make sure that the links and everything is available. I'm one of your
Mhm.
hosts for the class. You can reach out to me. We also have Chandana Bava, Sangeeta Kochar, Smriti Goswami, and Dr. Charu, who are people from India who are kind of assisting. Just reach out to us, and yeah, this is going to be fun. I'm really looking forward. Thank you so much, Katerina. This was a lovely conversation. I hope to have, I know we have a few more scheduled, so please
We
stay
do.
tuned. Yeah, please stay
And
tuned.
we
And
and we'll put a link. We have a WhatsApp thread. If you guys are
yes,
interested, you can join this WhatsApp thread, and then we'll keep you in the loop of, we have a free Zoom coming up and some other things where you can explore this a little bit more with me and Datu.
absolutely. Thank you so much, and hope to see you
Thank
soon in India. Bye
you. Bye bye.
bye.